So the top Porsches I would not be caught dead driving, even if they were free. I've been looking at a lot of Porsches lately, and I want, like everybody else, I want but shouldn't buy, you know? And I have seen a lot of bad Porsches on there that are essentially not stuff I want. And you guys know how it is. Facebook Marketplace is pretty much the only place right now to buy stuff. I mean, that's the biggest place right now to buy used cars. There's other places, sure, but not like that. So we're paging through pages of 911s, 997, 911s, 997 turbos, and you stumble across all kinds of stuff. And one is 924 and 944. Turbo or not, I cannot get into those cars. And they're starting to go up in price. It does not have the iconic Porsche look. I just cannot get into that. I don't know. I say that we're probably gonna buy one day, maybe, but I'm not seeking out that currently. That market, those are odd little cars, you know, and it's just weird. 4-cylinder cars, I don't know. Engines in the front, not in the back. But the next one I've been seeing so many of are air-cooled 911s that are target top or convertible. Especially the target top has a different roof line to it. You know, those cars, they're a little bit cheaper. By a little cheaper, I mean they're still like 40 grand for one of those, for a relatively bad one. And just looking at stuff, and it's like, man, I don't know. Like, those would be like 8 grand cool, not 40 to 100 grand cool. And that's what they are. And obviously people will still buy those if they're cheap, for the engine, for the drivetrain to put in a coupe, or doing like a wide body project or something like that, where they could use a lot of the interior parts and other stuff. But I just can't really get into that too much. Another one is 928s. 928, you even get like the S4 cars. They're really nice looking stuff, the newer stuff. What was the last year of that? Somewhere in the 90s, I can't remember, 93 or something. And maybe a little newer than that. But the look is odd. The headlights are odd. See other YouTubers buying them all the time. And those are commanding quite a lot of money too. I see those around sometimes now. People are buying those more and more. You know, you're in the price range with that stuff. Like a nice 928, like S4, is like 30 to 50 grand. 30 to 50 grand could buy you a lot of stuff. That could buy you a really nice Cayman. That could buy you 50 grand. Buy you 981 Cayman. Could buy you, obviously, a really nice 987. It could buy you a 987R. It could buy you a mediocre 997, 911. Could buy you a really bad 996 turbo. Could buy you a really good regular 996, maybe. Those are going up too. And, you know, that's my thoughts on it. But some of the worst Porsches, some of the worst ones are the SUVs. You guys knew it was coming. The Porsche Cayenne. If you look on there right now, they'll just basically just give you one of those. There's some on there for $1,500, $2,000. Porsche missed on that so hard, and everybody had such high hopes when the Cayenne missed so hard that the Macan would turn out good. I don't even leave my house a lot anymore. When I do, the last time I left, there's actually a broken down Macan on the interstate. And you're starting to see the price just tank on those. And it's like, you know what? They did the same thing as the Cayenne. Why not? That's a small SUV. Why not put the flat six in those cars? Why not put the flat six turbo in those cars? I understand it's hard for them to build that with that expensive an engine in it, but is it really? That would have made that little SUV epic. That would have taken all the nonsense, breaking down stuff out of it, and just the amount of problems you read on the internet that the Macan's having is just horrific. I feel bad for people that bought those. When they first came out, though, that'd be kind of a cool car. And then I thought, wait a minute, how close is that to the Cayenne stuff? How close is that? Apparently it's close enough to make an absolute nightmare. And, you know, that's kind of my thoughts on everything. As far as the cars we're actively seeking, a good price on 997. Really a good price on a 987, 981, the Boxster Cayman, you know, 718 isn't really in the price range. I mean, it is, but I'm not going to spend 80 grand on that car. And we're looking at GT4 stuff there for a while. That stuff's gone up too. It's over 100. It's just not $100,000 car to me. For just a smidge better than our factory option track car, it's just not worth $70,000 more dollars for just a little bit better. I mean, a little bit. You know, we're on full ED5. We got all the exhaust done, the intake. We're probably around, from what the internet says, around 360. Tuned correctly could be 380. That's a lot of power for a little car, but this is also a smaller car than the 718 by a pretty long shot. It's just a smaller chassis. And so do we need more power in this car? No, absolutely not. That's dangerous. It's already dangerous enough the way it is. And, you know, everything's done up right on that car. So it does have a lot of performance. It's all I want. I don't go to the track. You know, we live on a curvy, a lot of curvy country roads. So you just have your little track day for free whenever you want it. All right? And it works out really good. We have a bunch of very little traveled roads here. There's very little cars anywhere. There's very little police, so you can do whatever you want. Nobody gives a rat's ass what you're doing. And, you know, we go to Walmart and get an unwanted Instagram picture, take an experience from everybody when you pull up in it or wherever you're going. And that's good enough. So yeah, there's a lot of Porsches out there that can be had for a good price. 986 is another one. Windshield trim out of a BMW. 986 is another one. I can't get into it. We've done some 996 stuff on this channel before. And say what you want about 996, it's still a 911. But 986, that very small, even smaller chassis than this, the issue I have, you could buy those anywhere from $3,000 on up. I would say average price right now is about $7,000 for a 986 Boxster. And the issue is the engine is still very expensive. Very, very expensive. And if you have a problem, it doesn't make it worth fixing. And that's where you get into with the 987 up Cayman, the 911s. The value of the car is still high. So you can still fix the car. You can justify still fixing it. You buy a car for $7,000 and then you need a $10,000 engine. That doesn't make any sense at all. And then you still need what they all need, especially over 100K. They all need all the control arms done. They all need all the coolant lines done. Just those two things alone, if the engine's perfectly fine, is what, $2,500? If you really shop around and get stuff. They all need the water pump. They all need thermostat. At 100K, you should do the starter. Man, if it's 996 or 986 IMS bearing, which is essentially $1,000, it doesn't make sense to do it. And so you have to be careful on stuff. We went through that with BMW for years, running the BMW channel, fixing BMW stuff. Unless it was an M5 with low mileage, everything else lost money. There was no profit on BMW at all, because you would buy a car for $3,000 or $4,000, you need $7,000 worth of stuff. And every single one was like that. And you think, well, I'll dump the money into it. It'll last me another 100,000 miles. You drive for 3 days and something else breaks, or the parts you put on are breaking because they're factory parts, but it doesn't matter. It's all made in China, right? So it's just as bad as what the bad part was. And you just battle that. That's why we sold everything here. We sold all the BMWs except for the white M5, which you still need to do that. It still needs a $6,000 engine or more and a bunch of other money. And so that's taking back burner. You know, we're building the Figaro. It's over there behind the Cayman. And actively looking for another Porsche, but casually looking. I'm not going to go blow a bunch of money and get into something too much and we got to do a bore scoring job and it doesn't make sense. But that's my thoughts on everything. I'm not trying to be negative at all, but you guys that know these cars, you know exactly what I'm saying. I just thought I would assert that. 2023, everything's still the same as far as that goes. The prices on everything's just gone up. So take it for what you will. That does allow you to fix more stuff on one of these cars if it's worth more money. So that's kind of good, but it's not kind of good when you get to spend 70 grand on something you barely want. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Back again with another video very soon.